broadcast network, AfterBuzz TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AfterBuzz TV, the destination for TV superfans, producing aftershows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows, interviewing celebrities and showrunners, and bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Run from me, darling.
It's very slow and
Run, my good wife.
It's very creepy.
It's really
You know what's going to make it worse for everyone is I'm going to let them know Nando's not wearing any pants. Now listen to this music. Now let it all sink in.
Thank you very much for that. Thank you for that. I don't even want that visual. I don't even want that
Try
visual.
sitting across from you.
Well, stop looking underneath the desk. Stop looking underneath the desk. What's going on there? Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Blacklist After Show on AfterBuzz. My name is Nando Velasquez. Not here this week. It's starting to be a common theme here. Braswell. What the hell's going on with him?
We need to put up a picture of him and throw things at him.
I think if he doesn't come next week, and I already talked to him, he said he's coming next week, but if he doesn't come next week, we're going to put a picture of him.
Yeah, no question about it.
No
We
question.
miss you, Braz, though.
We miss
You
you.
speak for yourself.
I miss him, and I missed you guys last week.
Whatever.
Yeah, somebody
Whatever.
else was missing apparently last
Sorry.
week. Yeah. So, well, first let's go, Mr. Joseph Sanfelippo.
It's nice to be here with you guys.
Yeah, and then sitting as far away from me as possible.
You're not wearing any pants.
He's not wearing
Well,
pants.
that's true. That's a good point. That's a good reason not to sit next to me.
I didn't know they made tidy whities out of silk, man. This is creeping me out.
It's just the longer the song goes on, the creepier it gets.
So true.
Joining across from me, back from her anniversary tour.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Vegas was calling.
Yeah, Julia Cearley.
Win big, win big. Hi, guys. Nice to be back. Missed
Did you win?
A little bit. Sort of evened out.
If
Got a sweet
someone
tan
asks
by
you,
the
did
pool.
you win big, and your answer has the word little, then you probably didn't win
Well,
big.
it's like a breaking even sort of thing.
Okay. Did you win big? A little. That kind of ruins the whole big thing. What?
Oh, what's
This
that?
is the music video for this song.
Oh,
That makes sense.
Steve Lemieux is our producer, and he pulled up.
Oh, God. You guys really need to check this out on YouTube.
Yeah,
This is
if
amazing.
you're watching this on YouTube, this is very.
I have a sneaking suspicion we should start talking about the show, though.
Yes.
Yeah, we should. We're starting
Despite
to
the
get
fact that this is riveting.
Yeah, this is riveting. Yeah, let's move on to the show. The name of this episode is the Mombasa Cartel, and it's number 114. So again, somewhere like in the the lower 3 digits, the upper 2 digits. That's where we've been seeing a lot of these people. Another organization on the blacklist as opposed to a separate person. And let's just get this out of the way. Even before we start, all right. I feel like there's going to be some bragging in a second here.
There might be.
There might be a little bragging.
Should we say these 3 words together, you and I?
You could say it. I don't know if
You
I'll
want me to say it?
You could say
Wait,
it.
hold on. Let me get ready.
You ready? I want you to feel good about this.
Okay. Okay.
Julia was right.
Yes, I was.
Completely, totally, utterly right.
I'm
And Nando
really
won't even
trying
join me in saying it.
to contain
and,
myself.
And,
Well,
Stephen Lemieux has no applause for us, nothing.
I have 2 words.
Tell me.
I have 2 words. I can see it in 2 words, and it's going to piss you off.
Oh, God. What? Well, normally the things you say piss me
Yeah,
off,
that's
so let's
true.
hear it anyway.
So what?
Right, I'm up.
I told you it was going to piss
He's
you
not
off.
a nice boy. He's not a nice boy.
I mean, this is
I
not.
know it. The world knows it. I had 2 big predictions and 1 super big one, and it was totally right
Totally
on
right.
the effing nose.
I'll give you credit for one of them, but the other ones, I'm like, so what?
Wait, which one?
I'll give you credit for the fact that Tom is the source.
Okay.
Yeah, because
Or
I think
that
that.
she had him chained up behind the
Yeah, but that we kind of all figured out. We all kind of
we
figured.
all figured it out 3 weeks, and she figured it out the first.
You figured out. You figured out that Tom was the source from week 1 when we started seeing this door. What was behind the door?
I was the only one to say that
You
she
know what?
had
You
him
were.
captured.
Okay,
by-
I'll give you that.
There you
Okay,
go.
I'll give you
Thanks,
that.
You don't need to
Nando.
argue with the man with no pants. I'm going to tell you straight up that you're right.
Don't make me
And-
stand up.
And I'm sitting here with the certitude of a man wearing a pair of pants.
You had to look down when you
I
said
had to
that.
double check.
This
Okay.
feels good. This feels good.
So
All right. Thank you.
Let's get started.
Thank you for that.
All right. So I just want to get that out of the way. We'll talk
we'll
more
talk
about
about
that.
it more.
We'll talk.
Don't
I
worry.
know. We're going to talk about it more. But I know that there are actually some people who were tweeting about it. So I want to at least bring that out there. So anyway,
guys.
very interesting flashback to start off this show. 29 years ago in Sierra Leone. Yeah, 29 years ago, a kid who we don't know at the time is Dembe, but we find out later on it is. And he's hanging out playing in the fields, and these guys with rifles, we don't know exactly who they are, we figure they're poachers, come over and they pretty much kill his whole family because his dad, who we assume is the father of the family, ratted on them. So big scene. Then we go from there to Paris, France. We go from Sierra Leone to Paris, France, where we see what looks like an African American gentleman getting killed. So I think definitely seeing those two scenes, they didn't really make sense next to each other right away. Still a little confusion in how are they related. If this man was the little kid 29 years ago or whatever else,
Sure.
but really good play. And let's talk about this case. First of all, I want to say that this episode it reminded me a lot of the Stew Maker last season, which we all loved.
Yeah, it had a stew maker in it.
It had a very
it had that
stew-makery.
definite super duper creep factor to this one.
Yeah.
This was a really kind of scary one. Good for Halloween. Good
With that
timing.
song.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think there's something like, Carl Stroiken, I think I'm going to get his name wrong, but who played Matthew, the really, really tall guy.
Jeff Carl? Oh, no. Matthew, you mean. Yeah.
Yeah, he played. He's been in a ton of things. We've seen him in so many. He's played an alien multiple times. He was in Men in Black, and he's done. I think he's done some Star Trek stuff.
Super creepy.
I think there's something about like the tall guys that do bizarre stuff. The Stew Maker, same thing. Like a really tall actor, all by himself in the woods, doing crazy things. So yeah, definitely had some echoey stuff to it.
Yeah, and the fact that it really didn't make sense who the bad guys were in this scene until like halfway through, in this episode till halfway through, when we got to see Matthew doing his taxidermy on the poachers, on that first guy. Really, really creepy, putting those black eyeballs in, and really disgusting. And seeing this little old lady is definitely straight out of a horror movie. This felt like
House
Texas
of Waxy.
House of Waxy, maybe Texas Chainsaw Massacre type of feeling with his family. Peter is the normal looking one. He was the one that was the room service guy at the hotel in France. He seemed to be the most normal out of them. The mother definitely very creepy, very protective over her little baby boy Matthew, who's like 7 feet tall. That scene when he gets up from the bathtub.
Bathes him every night.
She bathes him. He's Kris Kringle with his nice little soapy beard and everything. And apparently,
creepy.
Very creepy. And even like at one point when, later on in the episode when he's out for his kills and Jeff Carl, played by Peter Fonda, who's an awesome job. Right, Peter Fonda played him.
Peter
right?
Fonda.
Yeah, Peter Fonda. When he was saying, "Don't kill Ressler," or kill him, but you can't.
None of the taxidermy.
None of the taxidermy stuff. The mom was like, "Matthew's not going to like that." So it's like a little bit of. When you're 7 feet tall and creepy like that, I think it's pretty easy to just.
They were all his friends. He needed friends because he was never allowed out of the house.
I know, really sad.
Yeah, he didn't know any better. What did he know? They facilitated it.
I don't know.
The crazy of the family facilitated this.
Okay. Too creepy for me. I'm sorry. I can't. I'll just accept it and move on.
There was a level of empathy that we were made to feel for Matthew. No,
Not me.
you. Okay.
No.
Never mind.
I didn't feel it. I'm not saying it wasn't there. I recognize how other people could, but I didn't.
It's because you don't have feelings.
That's probably why.
No, that's probably
why. I have no empathy for crazy tall murder men who who take people's skin off and make what you call them. Taxidermy.
Taxidermy.
I'm not into that.
Stuff them and whatever. Make a little campfire with a little recorded
crazy.
song in the background. A guy just holding his guitar.
That was really
song.
creepy when Ressler came upon them.
Yeah.
It's like a little dollhouse, like an outdoor camping dollhouse type of thing.
Ugh.
Really, really weird. The interesting thing too, and it has a little bit of a similarity to Stew Maker to me too, is when Red is first telling Lizzie about this case, about poachers, and you see the video in the background with the tigers, and he's talking about, Lizzie's just like, yeah, well, it's just poachers, nothing against them. Yeah, animal rights, definitely important, but compared to everyone else, not for the FBI, not for what this task force is about. We're going to be chasing poachers, and to see Red get very personal, and you could see him get really angry. Lizzie actually stops and says, "Wow, this is really important to you." So, and I kind of remember that too with the stew maker. When right before he killed the stew maker, he had that same kind of like anger toward this.
Well, the things that are really funny to me about episodes like this that happen, I mean, it happens in all shows, because it's clear the writers and the producers want to actually have an episode that clearly deals with this.
Yeah.
And what we find over and over again is that we deal with the poachers directly, but no one ever really wants to take the deep dive into the cultural reality that leads into it. They talk about it, but no one ever shows you never see a shot of a Chinese market in China where they're selling this crap.
Yeah.
Because this is a thing people believe. They believe that you can actually get if you grind up this bone, you grind up that bone, you get a dinosaur fossil, you get whatever nonsensical thing they believe. This is real in mainland China. This is real in India. This is real in huge countries where huge populations, but no one wants to take it on. It's really funny. Like they always want to go, we'll get mad at the poachers and we'll talk about this, but we're not going to show it because then we're going to get in deep-ish. It's really funny to me.
Yeah.
Because you just don't see the next step, which is, I think, again,
it's very interesting.
It would be a cultural catastrophe, truthfully.
Yeah. And I mean, even Red says they're not really poachers, they're traffickers, and he talks about the poor devils who do the killing are just a small cog in this monstrous machine.
Yeah.
It's really, these are the guys that do all the work.
I mean, we have this idea maybe that there's enough, big fat white guys that want to put rhinoceros horns on their walls, but that's not where this is going.
No.
This is medicine. This is the medical beliefs of people who don't understand medicine.
Yeah. I mean, Samara was talking about all the different uses that they have, and I loved when she looks at Aram and says
erectile dysfunction.
Yeah.
Poor Aram.
He was so offended.
That was a cute
As well
little.
he should be.
That was a little cute
I do not have that problem. I need no horn.
I'm loving their little relationship,
It's
whatever that may be.
That was their one little nod this week to whatever it is they're
Whatever it is,
right
it
now.
is, yes.
No idea. Whatever it is, it's happening. But anyway, so Red sends Lizzie on this case, and again, it seems very important. We figure out that it's personal to him because of Dembe, because of that first flashback.
All this time, I thought he just wanted to save the animals.
Really? Because it's usually pretty simple.
I think
Because Red is usually really simple with what he wants. You can always figure it out.
He has things that he believes in too. Wants to save the animals.
It took me a while to figure. I mean, it was halfway through his monologue about Dembe before I realized it was about Dembe.
Really?
I was like, idiot.
Well, let's move on. We'll talk a little bit more about the case as we get a little bit more into the story. But let's talk a little bit about Lizzie, because we do see Lizzie get a text toward the beginning of the episode, an urgent text from her man, her bouncer guy, who is Ronaldo, who's hanging out, watching guard over this big boiler room door. Mm-hmm. And we see her go over there. Ronaldo's completely knocked out. And she runs over to the door to see if whatever it is that's behind the door, if everything's okay, and who comes out but Hot Sniper Guy.
Hot Sniper Motel guy.
Hot Sniper Motel guy.
Love that guy. He's a good tale.
Julia loved this. He's a good tale. Julia really loved this episode. For those of you only listening to us, Julia's doing jazz hands.
Jazz hands, sparkle fingers.
Totally, sparkle
fingers. Proud of myself.
Yes, she's very proud of herself this week. Amazing.
I am this week.
Apparently.
Why you gotta crap on it? She deserves credit. She won. She won Blacklist. Whatever that means, she won.
The Blacklist.
She won the Blacklist. Very good.
Tell her what she's won, Jim. Well, Mom.
So, Hot Sniper.
Rights because Nando's trying to take it away.
I'm not trying to take it away. No, I'll give you credit where it's due. Anyway, so
it's like pulling effing teeth.
Honest to God. Getting into love out of this.
Razzle's not here. I'm lead host. I'll tell you when I'm sorry.
You tell me when it's up.
I'll tell you when it's up. No, anyway, so we see Hot Sniper Guy apparently has a couple more lines this week. Yes. That's one thing that's been missing. So
I like that they have him up on the stage. The way he did it was really nice. You want to tell Red or should I?
Yeah. I thought it was good.
First mistake. I mean, come on. She's obviously trying to elude him at all costs. She has this big, I don't even know what you call this big underground
sniper
contraption holding some guy.
But
hey, I'm going to give you a shot. I'm going to give you a chance. I'm going to give you a shot here.
Let me toss this out there because I pee standing up and therefore I am susceptible to massive stupidity. She had girls strip in front of him. She had her double chick. So as far as he's concerned, they're in a relationship of some sort. I mean, it's not even like, it's not intentional, but the guy,
Yeah.
He's like, boobs. All right. Oh, boobs.
All right, fair enough. There's a lot of power.
So, boobs. You want to call them boobs or should I boobs call them first? That's how it works. We're not very smart.
And that's a look into the mind of Joe Sanfelippo.
You're welcome, America.
Yes, you're welcome. Boobs. There we go. So anyway, hot sniper guy being really, really nice and
So he was
giving
being
Lizzie
chivalrous, is what he was
chivalrous. And what does he get for it?
Gets thrown in jail.
He gets thrown in jail. A whole SWAT team knocking on his motel room door, putting him in handcuffs, and a big report in the news about the feds being this close to capturing
His connection to Red.
Reddington.
Kind of a baller move on Liz's part. That was a
kind of a baller move, but it also shows that whatever it is in that room, she wants to protect that secret
What's in that room?
so badly.
What's in that room, Nando?
I don't know. I was writing notes when they did the reveal.
Okay, we'll get there. Don't worry about it. We'll get there.
But anyway, so hot sniper guy in the jail, in the pen, in the big sty. I don't know. I'm trying to think of names for it.
That's not a thing. I don't think the big sty's a thing.
Maybe your apartment.
Oh,
he's in the he's locked
Raz,
up.
welcome back. Anyway, so he's in jail, and Red, of course, talking to Lizzie about the fact that he knows that something's up. Obviously, this guy's in jail, and Red has no access to be able to talk to him for a reason, and it's because he knows something that Lizzie doesn't want him to reveal.
Yeah.
So we get to see a little bit of play on that.
Nice to see Red livid at Lizzie.
Well, I like the way they played it too. Just like the poor sniper guy's just like a plaything. He's like a pawn.
Oh yeah,
in their
cares.
little game. It's really and he's rotting in the cell, and then Red had to let her know like I know what you're doing. I don't know exactly, but I know. And then Lily's well, too bad. Snotty.
She is snotty.
Snotty. So let's talk a little bit about let's get into these things, okay? So let's talk about Ressler. Yes.
Okay.
So I guess we see Ressler at a pharmacy.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot about that scene.
Remember that scene?
That's right.
That scene, he's at a pharmacy, and apparently his prescription, he got stolen. Somebody broke into his car. So, he needed a replacement. It wasn't really being refilled, rather replacement, because he never really took any pills before it got stolen.
So they say. So says the junkie.
We do, yes.
I don't know about the rest of you, but when I watched this, I marveled at how many prescriptions must have gotten stolen out of Rush Limbaugh's car. Oh, I mean, just considering, like, okay, so you got to try and finagle the prescription. You're getting maybe 30 pills. The man was taking 47 OxyContin a day. So I'm like, okay, my God, how many guys did he have going to get prescriptions for him? That's insanity. But it really is. I mean, I'm so glad that they're doing this episode. I wish they would have Ressler miss a shave. I think that would be great. I think that would be a terrific thing if maybe one day Diego came to the set without having shaving.
Okay.
I like that.
Yes, for different reasons.
Apparently, you guys both will like that.
But I really do think this is such a good thing they're touching on, because this has become the scourge of modern America.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's just the numbers are absolutely mind-blowing.
Staggering.
How many people are dying of prescription drug overdoses? And I mean, it's a whole. You've got these classes of narcotics that are being prescribed like they're not narcotics. These are opium-based drugs. They're insane. It's insane what our doctors are doing right now. And it's just
their willingness to hand them out.
It's madness. It's like giving kids heroin. Straight up, here's some heroin. Let's see what happens. This is crazy.
Well, then at least good on the pharmacist for not.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, I'm glad they touched on that. Absolutely.
I'm glad they touched on that.
And I really thought that was way too clean a scene and way too easy, because he's an FBI agent. He could have made that a lot uglier.
Yeah, he could have. He could have been all entitled and tried to,
But I think he's nervous. I mean, I think he's scared by what he's becoming and the lengths that he'll go to. I mean, he broke his thumb. He smashed his thumb in a car door. Like, that's insane.
Yes.
Those are the lengths that you go to. That's what these drugs make you do.
Oh, absolutely. So
it is a wild thing. I'm glad they're touching on it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely. Well, I'll talk more about that. But yeah, okay. So we see pills this episode, or rather, we don't see pills.
Oh, we see many pills.
We see, and that scene we don't see pills because he didn't get any pills. We just see a pill bottle.
Well, we see many pills.
But it's about pills. But it's about pills. Yes.
Pills,
okay. I know.
Pills. Braswell wanted me to ask. Hey guys, what's Nando's favorite Destiny's Child song? Huh?
What is Nando's favorite Destiny Child song?
Pills, pills, pills. There's a song that goes along with it, but I don't know if I have the guts to sing it.
You have the guts to sing it. You should do it. You started it.
All right, well, let me look it up.
Let's hear everybody. Julia Cearley
singing. This is right from Braswell himself.
Okay.
This is for you, Braz. I can't believe doing this.
I can't believe it either.
Ressler's taking pills. He eats a whole lot of pills. He has to have all his pills. I don't think he knew. So Nando's takes our poo. There you go. Joe Braswell. Ladies and gentlemen.
I'm just amazed that Braswell uses poo in his vocabulary. That's the thing. It rhymed. I know it rhymed in that case.
It rhymed.
Okay, so yes. Well, if it makes you feel any better, I did not predict no pills this episode. But still.
100 people die from prescription drug overdose every day in the U.S.
Wow.
Wow.
That's crazy.
That is crazy. They definitely should do, they should have a PSA on that. Like The More You Know or something.
Well, if Stephen and me was even paying attention to what we're saying, we'd have one.
Well, no, it's okay. So that's 2 weeks in a row, I think.
Thank you, Lemieux.
I wasn't even looking for that. I was just saying there really should be a PSA on it. I wasn't talking about our
I'm sure there
But
is.
that's insane. Those numbers are crazy. Every day, 100 people overdosing. That's nuts.
No, it's crazy.
Worth getting into.
Yeah. So anyway, so we see Ressler apparently still is addicted to pills over his over what happened last season, over him getting shot, over his partner dying while he was on duty in the club, over all this stuff. So. We see Ressler ends up. Through the case, we see Ressler is going out to Alaska. They figured out that this whole thing's happening in Alaska. We meet Peter Fonda. Peter Fonda sends him to this one guy who's.
He sends him to Lee Chung of the Emerson Concord Imports, and what they do, they import game meats and animal parts from endangered species.
Good. I'm glad someone took note.
I paid attention.
Yes.
So this Emerson Concord Imports is sort of a front for Mombasa.
Yes. And we assume at this point that Mombasa is doing all the hits on these other cartels. So that's the line of thinking there. But anyway, so we trace that to Animal Underground, which is out of Alaska.
Formerly out of Alaska.
Yes.
Formerly out of
folded
Alaska.
up in the 70s.
Yes, absolutely. But we trace it to where their location was, Sitka, Alaska. And we see
the dead center of BFE.
those creepy scenes, that creepy scene in the opening when we see that man, the one from Paris, skinned alive on the shore of Russia. And we figured the other one too. We figure out the currents from the ocean. They both came from the same location in Alaska. Ressler gets sent up there. He doesn't have any pills. So, because he was trying to get him before he left. Oh, and he was apparently a little agitated when he was when they were detaining Chung. Was that his name?
Yes.
Yeah, he was a bit
Ray Chung.
agitated, and Lizzie even brought up that he was late for a meeting. So,
But he did not miss a shave.
He did not miss a shave.
That's why
though.
he's late.
He was shaving.
He was shaving.
Clearly.
Shaving,
taking
you're in the
pills.
bathroom, you're taking pills, there's a razor. Why not? Let's do two things at once. So Ressler goes up there, and we see this really creepy, to the extent of what he wants to get his pills. He's up in Alaska. He didn't get anything from the pharmacy down in D.C., so instead he puts his thumb.
It's not looking so good.
He's got the shakes. He puts his thumb up against his car door, opens the door, slams his thumb.
And not for anything, those Jeep doors are very light. So he had to slam it really hard. It's not like with an old Oldsmobile where you got a lot of door. You don't. That's a Jeep. That's a light door. He had to hit himself hard. That's difficult work.
That is difficult. I could not see myself do that.
No, I don't think I could either.
I could not do that.
You must really
You gotta get those pills.
Yeah.
Got to get those pills. Absolutely. So anyway, so Ressler gets pills. He has some pills on him. He goes over to the house where the creepy family are at, and
the house is owned. The house was bought after the 1971 Animal Underground Network when they were busted. It was bought at auction by
Wendigo LLC.
Wendigo LLC, which no one really knows exactly what they do, but they know they have to check it out because this was like the bunker.
Yes.
For the Sitka 7.
And again, I'm just going to toss it out there because I have to.
Please do.
FBI, WTF.
One guy.
One effing guy.
Well, but in all fairness, it's one guy going to a property that there's supposed to be nobody at, just checking it out in Alaska. So
one guy.
Are you really going to send a team of like SWAT to Alaska?
If you called me and said, Flippo, I got to go into this shady neighborhood over here just because I got to pick up a picture of I don't even know what, I'd at least say you should bring a friend. And if it's not going to be me, be somebody else. FBI, I'm going to go over to investigate a thing in a creepy neighborhood up in the middle of nowhere where I don't know anybody. One guy, FBI, please.
Well, don't forget, he's popped up on pills, so he wasn't thinking clearly anyway.
He's all hopped up on pills.
Nice.
Marijuana, cigarettes, and crack cocaine.
Nice. So he meets the mama of the family, and she just gives him a little spiel. Peter comes over. Apparently, he's got goats under the tarp on his pickup. Ressler asks to take a look. Gets knocked out for
And
his
who's
troubles.
there?
Yes.
Lee Chung.
Lee Chung's out there, all gagged up, trying to say something, and Ressler gets knocked out. And of course, he's hopped up on pills, so we would assume he's not fast on his game to really recover. And we see that really creepy scene with the two of them in their own little cages
With their ear tags.
With the ear tags.
Those
those
ear tags
disgusting
really creeped me out.
That's a lot. That's a thing.
That adds to the whole horror element of it, I feel like.
Well, it just makes us animals, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
It takes away all of our humanness.
Yeah, with that with that eerie music in the background, something very, again, like very horror movie associated.
Yeah, I gotta say, sound design last few weeks has been spot on.
I agree.
They've been killing it.
I agree.
Absolutely.
Really great selections.
Absolutely.
So thanks, sound guys.
So music stops playing and the cages are released, and then we get to see Matthew at work with a weird howl. He's got, what was that, like a crossbow? I guess
No,
he's
that was a
using.
bobo.
That was a bobo? He's just using a bobo?
You don't have to call it a bobo, it's just a bow. My fault. I apologize.
Okay.
I was misleading. That's my fault.
Matthew's got a bow, and we see Chung and Ressler going at it, trying to figure out a way out, but they're kind of wrestling each other. Next thing you know, Chung shot through the heart, totally gone.
When I was watching that quick little scene between Chung and Ressler, I was wondering, which would I be? Would I be the Chung in this, or would I be the Ressler? Like, Chung, he just wanted to peace out. He just wanted to run as fast as he could. But Ressler, even though he's, has the shakes because he's in withdrawals from his pills, he has the peace of mind to take a step back and really think about it. How long was your drive over here? I was at a gas station about 15 minutes before I got here. Like, which would I be? I'd probably just run my ass off for the hills.
Here's the thing. Peace of mind. Chung's plan was better. The only reason that Ressler didn't get shot is because Chung got shot.
Because Ressler kept them behind.
Picked him up, and then Chung got shot.
He pretty much held him.
argued that Ressler used Chung as a pincushion for the first bow, for the first arrow shot.
I kind of agree with Flippo on that.
But Ressler was, he had some smart moves when he was out there.
Chung might not have escaped regardless, but Chung standing there, getting picked up like that, he was still pretty easy target for Matthew to get. I was thinking about this. I was actually thinking about this too. I was thinking, what would happen if I was in that situation? I think the first thing I would do, I probably wouldn't do what either would do. The cages are obviously pointing in one direction.
You go the other way.
I would go the other way. Because I would assume that they were pointing in one direction because that's where the arena is, and I would say no, let's go the other direction.
That's smart.
That's the only thing I could think of.
I would
probably still be dead, but that's the only thing I could think of.
I would hate running with the damp pants that I would have on.
Well,
because
apparently
I pissed them a long time ago. So running with tight, wet jeans is uncomfortable.
You should take a note.
It's much cold out
You
there.
should
And it's warm at first, but then it gets cold.
Awful.
You should apparently take a note from my playbook.
Yeah, just don't wear pants.
Don't
Nancy.
wear pants, and then you don't have to worry about running
You'll
in damp.
escape every time.
They won't
just
let
wear
you
those?
escape. They'll be like, right this way, sir.
Right after you, sir.
They'll just close their eyes and let me walk right
Are
through.
those silk tighty whities? Where do you even find those? Never mind. Just go.
Just go.
Just keep going. Just keep going. Don't
Oh,
stop.
that's funny.
Don't stop at all. So Ressler ends up finding this really creepy campsite dollhouse thing, which was really, really, oh my God, that was so eerie the first time we saw that whole thing with the music and just seeing those guys with those big black eyes. Really, really crazy.
Yeah.
And but then smart on him. I actually thought it was a smart move. We see Matthew later on. I guess he kind of gave up or figured he needed a break
Well, those are
from
his
his howling
friends.
and everything, and went to hang out with his friends and have a conversation, sit on the campfire. How do you keep a fire like that on all the time? I wonder too.
Well, I don't
Without
know.
burning any of your dolls.
I'm not sure how that works.
Yeah, I don't know. But
No,
anyway.
maybe you build it up good, I guess. I don't know.
I'm a little surprised that Matthew wasn't like checking and saying, "Hey, one of these guys I didn't stuff."
Well, did he replace one of the guys? Didn't
Yeah, he put on his costume.
Which can't be easy.
Oh, I guess
No.
he did. Yeah, I must be really
But
weird.
then once again, his shakes
the
gave him away.
shaking gave him away because he's addicted to something. I don't
He's
know what
addicted
porn.
to painkillers.
Okay, pills. Apparently pills.
He likes the pills.
Yeah, whatever. Anyway, so we see a little fight, and look, Matthew is super tall. I mean, when I saw that scene with him in the bathtub coming up, with that little Kris Kringle beard to make him look kind of sweet and adorable, even though he's not.
Right.
I was actually thinking, what would happen if he was one-on-one against like Ressler or somebody? So we see a little bit of that.
Like a strong boy.
But Ressler was able to get a knock into him with the arrow shaft that he got from Chong earlier. So we get to see this really sad scene with him and his mom at the end when the FBI finally show up. So you're really happy to bust in. You must have been happy.
Apparently, the FBI has plenty of people in Alaska.
They have a lot.
It took them a little while, but they have plenty of people in Alaska. And we see this really sad scene with the mom and Matthew in the tub together.
I have to say before that the mom, played by Phyllis Somerville, I love everything that woman does.
Great.
She's really
Little
neat.
Children, The Big C, Case of Benjamin Button. She has this way about her that she will just strike the fear of God in you.
Yeah, there's something very, very what's the term I'm looking for? Grounded and what's the like real about her. There's something incredibly
salt of the earth.
Yeah, something.
Salt of
she's
the
very,
earth.
very real. So when you hear her, when you listen, there's no question. You don't feel like she's acting. You just feel like there's an authority in what she does. I enjoy it. I buy her.
Well, I thought the acting all around was really, really great from everybody.
And I liked Peter too. I think
Peter was good,
Peter's
too.
turn was great.
Yeah.
Like really, really like, hey, I'm just an earnest, really nice guy who does some crazy ish every now and then.
I
It's a family
got
business. You had to do what you had
mom's
to do.
cray-cray.
mom's cray cray.
It is cray. I don't say
Father-
that. I don't say cray cray. Sorry, I
Well,
can't do it. I
alright,
can't bring
that's fair.
myself to do
So
it.
is Peter Fonda his father too?
Yeah, Peter Fonda's the
Is Peter's dad too?
Yes. No. Yes. I
Because
think
she
so.
called him father when they were talking about going back out. Said father has
Yeah.
another person, and he reacted to that. So, but he just looks more closer to Jeff's age, Jeff Carl's age, than you would think. Actually, they all looked pretty old. Even Matthew looked pretty old.
But you got to keep in mind Peter Fonda's 33rd most wealthiest. Well, I talk English when I speaks good.
I don't know about Peter Fonda, but yeah, Jeff Carl.
Jeff Carl, he's playing the 33rd wealthiest man on the planet, right?
Yes.
So you got to assume that he's got access to whatever he needs to stay young.
Jeff Pearl?
Jeff Carl.
Is it Carl or Pearl?
Jeff
It is Pearl.
You guys were confusing me. I was
I'm
just going
sorry.
along with it. I was like, yeah, that
Jeff,
guy.
Oh, yes,
Jeff
him.
Pearl.
Jeff Pearl. Sorry
Jeff
about that.
Pearl.
I messed up a name.
No, that's okay.
Okay.
You know, it was interesting to me watching Peter Fonda because, I easy rider for me always. It's that, anytime I see him do anything else, I'm just like, yeah, but get on the motorcycle. Let's take it. But it was funny, it's interesting. I felt like there were a couple of spots in this episode where the writers overrode a little bit. There was like a couple of things for Lizzie and a couple of things for Peter Fonda's character. Mm-hmm. There were a few lines more than they were comfortable with, and it was really neat to see him kind of sit there with Red, because just Peter Fonda being himself, just the actor, gave him enough oomph to be in the room with James Spader.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? To make it a good enough to get the
Not
scene.
taking away from other guest stars that they've had or regulars on the show, but when you put a heavy hitter like Peter Fonda with a heavy hitter that is James Spader, there's just a brevity that's brought to the room that I just can't wait to watch, and
Yeah.
it just changes everything.
No.
Because I feel like a lot of the times James Spader, he runs the show as well. He should. This is his show. But when you have him against someone like this, it changes everything.
Well, and this is a really
Outstanding.
interesting. Let's get to that scene, because we saw the death scene that was really, really creepy and interesting. But the scene between Red and Jeff Pearl. Was really, really interesting also because we got to see a couple of swerves here that apparently Jeff Pearl, who was an animal activist, was really actually a poacher himself, and he was just trying to get rid of the competition and control the supply and demand situation. So honestly, he wasn't really that nice a person to begin with. I had a feeling when we first saw him with Lizzie, but he's not a nice person. And we hear this whole big story about Dembe, which of course is Red, what James Spader does so well as Red. He just has all these different emotions and reactions.
It's very
in a
layered.
scene. Very layered. Just this beautiful, beautiful scene with Dembe about what happened in the beginning of the episode that we saw, and how Red found him. And we see Dembe just show up. And really, really, even excellent acting from Dembe as well, from Dembe's character, because here's a man who probably should want revenge on anyone who, part of the cartel, and he's just like, no. It's not worth it. Let it go.
It's a long time ago.
It's a long time ago. Let it go. And Red, without missing a beat, goes, see, that's what separates him from people like you.
No, yeah,
And me.
Good people, right? Somebody says.
Yeah, good people. And that's what separates him from people like you and me. And
Yeah,
once he says,
I knew
me,
that. No question.
bam,
Boom, yeah.
kills him dead.
There was no way Peter Fonda was leaving that room.
Beautiful, beautiful work, beautiful scene. I loved seeing that. I loved learning about Dembe. Learning a little bit
Rough
more about
start, Dembe.
He's one of our favorite characters, so it's great to see a little more backstory on him.
Am I the only one who felt like at the end of that scene, though, I felt like Peter Fonda's character was actually more correct than everybody else in a lot of ways? Like, if you do look at this as an honest-to-goodness problem to be dealt with, then wouldn't a controlled monopoly be?
Natural monopoly?
Well, I think
Natural monopoly?
sometimes that's what's great. That's what makes a great villain, because villains never think that they're doing bad
No, that's
or
the truth.
evil.
You're 100%
They
right.
always think there's a reason for their cause, and I think that justification sometimes makes a really, really good villain, because it's a lot of anti-heroes. I mean, this is the era of the anti-hero anyway. I mean, if this was another kind of show, perhaps this character would have been an anti-hero for what he's doing.
Yeah.
Kind of like a Walter White, for example, doing it for the greater good, for what he believes is the greater good, even if it's not.
Right.
So I think it's an amazing work all around by that.
Here's a question. So going into this episode, when Red gave Lizzie this case of the Mombasa Cartel, do you think he knew from the get-go that Jeff Pearl was the guy he was going after? Because it seemed to be a moment that switched in his head.
When he was in the car, it switched in his head.
And he put that together. So
Wendigo
originally,
LLC.
Wendigo LLC was what tipped him off.
Yeah.
But originally, in giving this case to the FBI, was it strictly revenge for Dembe? What was it, to save the animals? Like, what was the original plan?
I feel like it was a Dembe. It had to be something else, because we've seen every single episode that Red's had an ulterior motive.
Exactly, that's what I'm wondering. Now, at the end, he got the comprehensive list of all the members of the Mombasa Cartel, and all of their distribution networks and whatnot.
So he did get that.
Maybe that was his. I'm just wondering what his motive was in the very beginning.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe we'll find out in a future episode. But he did give that list to the task force. So whatever it is, he actually is sharing this information with the task force, as opposed to having them do all the work.
I think he just wants to save the animals.
Own thing.
I think that's the point of the entire Blacklist. Let's save the animals. There you go, guys.
You're welcome, NBC.
We'll see if Julia.
Blacklist again.
You win again.
We'll see if you win the Blacklist. All right, we don't have much time, so there's two things I want to bring up. First
I think
of all,
you should bring them up then.
We're going to bring them up. First of all, we want to talk about Zoe, because we saw a couple of scenes with Zoe. We saw Red make that connection with Zoe. He dropped his hat off at the little street cafe type thing for the food truck, and she goes chasing after him. So there was a lot of talk on YouTube, on our YouTube channel, about some theories that why are we assuming that this is Red's daughter? This might be Berlin's daughter. Why are we assuming they're twins? What do you guys think? I mean, I have to admit, the fact that they had this face-to-face meeting, even though it's been years since she would have seen her dad, if Red is her dad, do you feel like there should have been some more familiarity? Do you think that maybe Red is pursuing his daughter here, if Jennifer/Zoe is his daughter or not?
Well, if it is his daughter, which I think it is, and I think, like I've said before, I'll say it again. I think they're sisters. I think they're both Red's daughters. Yeah. And it was really interesting to me to see the kind of duality of the scene. They're both giving false names. What did he say his name was? Kenneth something or other?
Yeah, Kenneth.
And she's got Zoe, which is not her name, and that's not his name.
Yeah.
But I thought it was very charming, and it very much reminded me of Red back in the day with Liz last season. Obviously it should, because same damn position. I know a lot of people are kind of, but that's the whole point of this whole thing, right? Isn't it? Get us all talking, get us all thinking. There's a bunch of different things going on.
It could be a swerve, and maybe it's not Red's daughter. There's a possibility. I mean, I think there are some good points about it not being Red's daughter. We might have assumed too much.
Whatever.
I think there are some definitely good points. What do you think, Julia?
My inclination is that it is his daughter.
Okay. I seem to think so
just
too.
With the sincerity that he goes about his conversations with her, the way he treats her, the way he watched her, and went out of his way to find her.
Yeah.
Because we know he goes out of his way to take care of the ones that mean the most to him: Naomi, Lizzie, and now Jennifer/Zoe.
So you think that
And
Zoe? Yeah, and Dembe. So you think Zoe is his daughter, but what about Lizzie? You still on the fence with that one? Do you think there's still a relation between those two?
I still don't think Lizzie is his daughter.
Or with Zoe and Lizzie? Maybe it's possible that there's a relationship between those two.
There might be.
That might not
Zoe
be Red.
Lizzie's daughter.
There it is.
There it is.
Done.
There it is.
There it is. Boom.
You need to not wear pants more often, Joe.
Damn right. What do you say?
And the last thing let's talk about really quickly is let's talk about that final scene. We get to see the return of a character that Julia predicted.
Sure did.
Fine.
Sure
but we
did.
all kind of
She
assumed
predicted it
about
good.
a week or two ago. We assumed this was going to happen.
Predicted real good.
We get to
I predicted
see.
that one hard.
She predicted the ish out of that one.
Oh boy, Tom Keene back in the Blacklist.
Back
So
in
we've
the
seen
Blacklist.
a little scruffy, a little grislier.
There's a little scruff going
Yeah,
on.
it's got a little bit just in time for Movember.
Yes. He's raising awareness.
He's raising
for prostate
awareness.
cancer.
Exactly. That's why
Thank
he's
you,
in
Tom.
there. Thank you, Tom. So thoughts about this last
You
scene?
live in a deep November. For those of you who don't know, Julia Cearley's husband, Eric, will grow something ridiculous every November.
It's impressive.
It's astounding. And he's one of those guys where if he just kind of like really hard, he blows really hard, it's unreal.
Wow, that's amazing.
He grows a mustache and a beard in 15 minutes.
So
true.
anyway,
It's
just to keep
unreal.
this on
It's
track because we
very
don't have much time. So Tom is Lizzie's source, or at least Tom has been giving her information. We don't know to the extent of what Lizzie knows.
He's told her everything
that he
she's
knows.
asked. He's answered all her questions.
That's it. He's answered all their
For
questions.
God's sakes, if you're going to kill me, kill me.
Yeah. So
Look me in the eye while you do it.
So what do you think this means?
So ridiculous. I love it.
Go
on, what do you think it means?
No, what do you think this? Well, you know what? Let's move on. Are we done with just about everything with this episode?
I think so.
We're about done with this.
Let's
All right,
do
so
it.
let's do predictions.
I hear snakes.
And now, your AfterBuzz
It is October.
TV
It is.
Yes.
predictions.
So anyway, what do you think Tom being back on the show, now that we know that Tom is Lizzie's source, that Tom is in captivity, that Lizzie never killed him, which we assumed from the end of last season that she didn't kill him. What do you think this means for Red and for the rest of the show?
I don't know. I thought we were doing predictions.
It's a prediction.
Okay,
What do you all right, well, okay, general predictions then. That is a prediction in itself, but what do you see?
Yeah.
What do you think? Julia?
Well, I obviously think that Red's. I don't have any strong ones. I think I'm done with those for this week. But I think Red's going to discover that Lizzie has Tom.
Yeah.
I don't know. I really don't know what that's going to mean yet.
Okay, fair enough.
And I do think though that Lizzie is going to help Ressler get clean.
Okay, I see that. I don't see any pills in the future.
I mean, she gave him the bottle back,
Yeah.
but now he's on her radar, and I think she's going to make him a little.
I had
project.
a whole rant about the pills that I can't go into because we're running short on time, judging by the music. But I definitely feel that the pills was a wrong character choice for whatever's going on because I think it's pretty much over now that Lizzie knows.
Well, I knew it was going to last
pill's
the
over.
whole thing, and we're almost done with the first half of the season.
Yeah, but it wasn't a major plot point. But I have a whole rant, but I'll save that for another time. But what do you think? Mr. Sanfelippo?
Here's my prediction.
Yeah.
I think that he left the hat. I think that Red left the hat because he wanted to get Zoe's DNA. So I think now that she's handled the hat, he's got her DNA on the hat, and so now he's going to be able to back it all up exactly who she is, exactly what he needs out of her.
Wow.
So he'll be able to lay it all in.
That's an interesting one. I like that one.
That's
okay.
a DNA right there. It's a DNA angle.
And I'm going to
Watch
predict.
a lot of Law and Order, don't you?
I do. SVU.
And even though I'm being played out, I'm going to predict that Lizzie and Tom are going to have a little rekindling of romance. We've seen that because obviously there's some feelings still going on. Where can we find you, Miss Cearley?
Find me on Twitter and Instagram with my name, Julia Cearley, JuliaCearley.
And Mr. Sanfelippo?
You can find me on the Twitters at Joe Flippo, JoeFlippo, and my website is josephsanfelippo.com. And I said it last week, I'll say it again. Check out Miss Erin's magical dance class if you have a young kid or related to a young kid that could use enjoys dance class. It's something I produce, and I'm very proud of it.
And you can find me, you can lower it a little bit, Steve, I'm wrapping up. You can follow me at Nando Vel on Twitter, Nandovel. You can also find me here on other shows like The Walking Dead and Scorpion and some other show, and Homeland. Anyway, tune in next week. Joe Braz will be here to run the show properly. Thanks.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.